Kingsley Walters.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, honestly, this would look. You know, we've had date clashes with you before. We'd have moved the date if you couldn't make it, Kingsley. So I'm absolutely delighted you're here. Do you want to just tell the room, just give them a 1 minute potted. You know, what is it you do now? What is it you do now, and why do you matter?
Oh, wow. Well, I have a small brand called Kingsley Walters Studio, which I make leather and canvas bags. That's what mainly keeps me busy. So I handmade most of the stuff. And yeah, I sell on my website and also to wholesalers.
And you make the best wallet I've ever owned.
Thank you.
Genuinely, if you want a wallet, why would you want anything bigger than that? It's absolutely marvellous, and it's just aged. And what I love about this is when I come in to see you, and I show you go, oh yeah. And I don't know whether that's, oh yeah, I did a great job there, or oh yeah, that's really, really sort of settling into his looks. Thank you. Are you okay with the vocal? You can hear at the back okay. Do we need to project a little more? You all good? A little more, okay. So, little more, Kingsley, that's what we're looking for.
Can you hear me now?
Is this on? Yeah. We're going to use this then. That should give us a bit more. So, Kingsley, you know where I'm going to go, those same three questions. Tell me what your childhood tasted like, sounded like, and smelled like.
Okay. For taste, I would say, well, I'm from Jamaica, so it's very spicy and flavoursome, I guess, like spicy in terms of heat and flavours. We cook with a lot of flavour, so yeah, my mum's food was very, very delicious. So yeah, I would say.
How old were you when you left Jamaica?
Age 10. So I left Jamaica and came to London. And moved to southeast London. Yeah. So
that was taste, so spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
What was your, if you close your eyes and think back to the love of your mum.
Yeah.
What were you eating when you've got that image in your mind?
We eat a lot of oxtail. Obviously jerk chicken, but I do prefer barbecue chicken. Yeah, I've got more of a sweet tooth.
Thinking when you've said oxtail, I'm transported back to 1973, age 5, not being very well. And my mum saying, this will make you better, oxtail soup. And it kind of did.
I love oxtail so much. I do. I can't lie, I love oxtail.
And also it's a cheap cut, right? You can get oxtails pretty much for free these days if you go and ask a nice butcher.
I wish. In a Jamaican shop you have to pay.
Oh, you need to go to the English shops. They have no idea what they're doing with them.
Really? Oh, yeah.
So that's your taste, right?
Yeah.
What about the smells? What are the smells of your childhood?
Well, I'm from Kingston, Portmore, which is the sea is like literally like 30 minutes drive, so it's very fresh, very airy. Whenever I think about Jamaica, I always think back to like the summertime, and just like, you know, in London in London when it's summer, you don't get much wind. In the Caribbean, you get like great wind and loads of shades. So whenever I think about the smell, it's just fresh off the sea breeze, and then there's always just like fried fish and festivals. So it smells a bit better than London. So yeah.
London smells alright. It's interesting that I always think of smell as the most powerful time machine that there is. It's the thing that if I get a smell of my youth, I'm back there. Faster than taste, actually. Yeah. But what you've just done then, you used the smell as a key, and you then unlocked a Pandora's box of memories that were were not about smell, but they were about the things that you could do whilst you were having that kind of smell flip back, that smell flashback, smell back, that smell back. Smell back. Yeah. And what about the sound? What about the sounds of your childhood?
My mum didn't play much music, but when I lived with my dad, he often played like a lot of like Saturdays and Sundays, especially on Saturdays when it was like house cleaning day. So the reggae music would be playing, and maybe on Sunday you would get like a bit of American music like Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, which I think I've said this before. Like his favorite song is like "Dance with My Father Again," and in many ways that became my favorite song because he used to play it so much. When I was that age, I hated that song, but now like I understand like how amazing Luther Vandross is. Then yeah, like it's one of my favorite songs as well.
That's amazing. And was your father's father around at that point?
No, so I think maybe that's why he was playing that song a lot. My dad's still around, so but I play it a bit now.
Where does your dad live now?
He lives in Kent. Yeah, he lives in Kent.
Moved to London, then got rich and moved out. Yeah.
I hope so. Nah, he ain't quite rich yet, but yeah, he moved to Kent, which is quite nice. Yeah.
So tell me, you until 10 you're in Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica. It's a must.
Yeah.
And frankly, because I want to go and experience dancehall.
Yeah, yeah.
That fat bass that makes my ribs want to open up. I really want to experience that. But tell me, what was it like growing up there? What did you do? How did you spend time?
You know what? It was an easy, simple lifestyle in the sense of like you appreciate all the simple stuff, and I guess I appreciate that more now that I live in London. And then, just when I think back to my childhood, just the stuff that we used to do is like in the summertime, like me and my friends used to play football, but we used to play against the other little kids, like so my group of friends, or we used to fly kites and stuff like that. But we used to group our monies together, and then play against the other team, and the winner of that win football would get all the money, and we used to use that money to then buy. In Jamaica, there's like a sweet bready. It's called bulla, which is like we group that money and buy bulla and buy drinks, but we all share it. So if you don't win, you will be quite hungry until dinner time. So.
You didn't share with the losers. You just shared.
No, we didn't. I must say we didn't.
That's high stakes.
But yeah, if you win, you had a full belly all day.
That must have motivated you to bang a couple of scorches in, yeah?
Yeah, I did lose a bit though, so it was tough. So it balanced itself out. But yeah, it's a lot of football, and we played a lot. We played like kite war a lot. Wars. Yeah, so we used to build our own kites. So a lot of part of the beauty of, like, I guess a simple Caribbean life is like the kids, the toys that you play with, you learn how to make them yourself. So we used to fly kites a lot, and obviously you got the Caribbean is quite windy, amazing. So when you fly the kites, they can go quite high. But we used to do kite wars, which the tail of the kite would be made from fabrics, and it'll be quite long. And then we get like razors and tie the razor within the fabric of the tail. It's okay. It's just but so the loser of the kite war again would, we play in groups, and that was these are like simple joyful things that like kids make. You learn how to use your hands. So yeah, those are the things that I really loved.
I love right. The simple joyful things.
Yeah.
Putting razors in kites. That's incredible.
We was careful. We was pretty careful.
I believe you. I can't imagine want to hurt anybody. But the aim was to cut the other tail off the kite with the razor. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was the aim,
so they would be flying high, and then you have to drop the string. Like you have to try to drop your kite, like within the string of the kite that's flying, and then you pull, and then the kite's just like that. So it was great. It was great.
I love it. I'm going to go and try this at Burton Dassett, which is the kite flying capital of the Midlands.
Yeah, you should go to Jamaica. You wear a lot of bright colours. They would love you. Seriously.
I don't need any excuse. To be honest, my good friend Raoul and I have been planning a Jamaican trip for the last 3 days, and we're just, not forever, but we're trying to work out how I can get over there.
Yeah,
that's amazing. But so I love this image. I've got this incredible image, and your friends. You got this team that you play with, that you club your money in. It's an all winner takes all situation with your team. And then you were transplanted to London. Yeah. And tell me about the kind of differences. But I'm more interested in the similarities. And tell me how you carried on a relationship with those boys, or did you not?
We don't have close relationships anymore because of the differences between, I guess, the small conversation was just like, how are you doing? You know, just because it's such a different culture. Even with some family members, after like the hey, how you doing? It's quite the everyday interest is quite different.
Yeah, so all my family members like that.
But we there's a few of them that live in America and stuff like that. So we do now catch up on like Facebook sometime, but it's not like a every week conversation. And maybe I don't know. I've got good Jamaican friends here, but I'm not necessarily close with them because we were so young, I guess.
Yeah. And how did it feel when you arrived? Which part of London did you move to? South London?
Yeah, my dad at the time lived in southeast, which is like closer towards Bromley. So so Grove Park. Yeah. So it was more closer to close. It says London, but it was more close to Kent. Yeah. But yeah, my first experience, I was quite excited about like, I don't know, because when you're in Jamaica, you just watch things on TV and you think it's like that. You just see all the. So I was quite excited to come to London, and then I was most excited about just talking and seeing your breath. Yeah.
I get that.
Just simple, yeah.
I get it. In the summer, I like winter. I didn't used to, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
You have to almost hold your own breath as part of it.
Yeah.
Well, did it disappoint, or were you delighted?
I was quite delighted. It was quite. School was possibly the most funniest, but like just speaking Jamaican, which kind of is English, but it isn't. But it's just like when I remember my first couple of days of school when I had to introduce myself, and then I was like, the teacher was like, "Come on, introduce yourself," and I was just like, "My name is Kingsley, and I got 3 brothers," and then the teacher was like, three brothers," like, but just the Jamaican accent just jumping out. And then all the kids for like a week, just like, tree, like just taking the mic. I said 3 instead of 3. Just
kids are fucking, it's very cool, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah.
And you know, were you able to bring any of the light, any of the joy that you had as a kid, the football or the kite? Were you able to bring any of that into London?
Oh yeah, because I continued playing football with friends and stuff like that. The kite was a bit more, I kind of got lost in that. And I played a lot of cricket. We did that. I used to play the football for my school and cricket for my school, that's a lot to do with Jamaica, I guess. Yeah.
And after school, so your mum and dad both came over? My
dad came first and my mum came after, basically.
But your grandparents stayed in Jamaica?
My mom's parents was in Jamaica, but my dad's mom was here. Yeah. And I ended up coming to London because I was living with my dad's dad, but then he passed, and I had to come along to London because he was my carer whilst I was in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, and tell me about him.
He was quite funny. He was quite funny, but he was also quite gentle as well. And we had great times. And he used to have a shop in the house that we lived in. So we lived in like the suburbs. So it was great. He was always giving me money, so it was quite good. It was a good.
What kind of shop did he have?
Like a food shop. And so everyone in the community used to come along and buy food from us. So yeah, I was popular for that reason.
Because you had loads of money from it.
No.
That's interesting. So going through school, and then when were you able to sort of solidify what you wanted to do? Was there a moment that you thought, oh yeah, this is the direction I want to go in?
Not really, actually. I thought I wanted to be a chef. So after during school, I went straight into chef college, trying to be a chef. And I did that for a number of years. And just life experience and meeting people and just taking an interest in different form of whilst being a chef and realizing that I wasn't a foodie, so I was never just I love cooking and stuff. I was more in love with the aesthetic of it, just the way it looks. So once I fell out of love with that, I had to find something else that I like, basically. So it was just experience from that.
And what was this something else?
After that, I kind of jumped and I wanted to do something in fashion or clothing or something like that. And I thought I would challenge myself by studying tailoring, because it's the hardest. I was watching loads of videos, and couture, which is the hardest form of women's clothing. I wanted to make clothes for myself, and as a man, I was just I want to make suits. So I thought I would study bespoke tailoring. So I went off and did that for 2 years, but I'm really practical. So whilst doing that for 2 years, I wanted to then do an internship. So I went off and this is where I met Toby, where I went to Black Horse Lane and I took a step out of tailoring and learned how to make jeans, denim and so on. And then that led me into meeting people that work with leather and so on. So it was literally just me making mistakes and just kind of going with the flow and keep going, basically.
And that's a lovely bridge into the previous talk, because those mistakes
Yeah.
can go anywhere. And my friend Paul reminded me that penicillin, one of the most powerful drugs we've ever created, medicines we've ever created, was a mistake.
Really?
Yeah, it was a mistake. Yeah, Paul will tell you all about it. He's a chemist, really clever. And I love Black Horse Lane. I'd forgotten you were with Hahn. So Black Horse Lane is a denim company in Walthamstow, and they make to my mind, they fit me the best of all the jeans I've got. Black Horse Lane are the best fitting. And did you work with Hahn at Black Horse Lane, or were you just working with Toby?
Yeah, I work with Hahn, but so I selfishly went there because I wanted to learn from Toby.
Yeah.
So, and I did that for, I believe, close to a year, where I met my friend John, which he did leather work. So that's the way I got into working with leather.
And tell me, what is it about leatherwork? I mean, it's quite a niche part of fashion. Yeah. What is it about leatherwork that makes you feel more you? Once
I started doing tailoring, and I then grow an appreciation for making stuff with hand, or just stuff that's made well, I guess. So, and then I started getting an interest in, stuff bags that's made for practical reason, functional and practical stuff. So I started researching stuff that was used in the war, pre-war, just stuff that's made with a lot of meaning. And so once I stepped towards that, I wanted to make everything by myself, I guess. So that I really got lost in that for a number of years, and started really practicing it. And the appreciation just came from just interest and just trying to be stubborn, I guess. Not trying to be, just being stubborn. Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
That's amazing. And at any point in this is a journey from food to high couture to leather. At any point, did your dad say, make your mind up? Was there any pressure, any parental pressure for you to settle on something?
Not, it was more towards my mom, because like maybe my mom was, she was like, you were doing so well as a chef. why do you then want to jump? But I guess I know that I had an interest in it, I guess. And it was what I was enjoying. I had an interest, so I was just going with that new interest, and just like, oh, this is what I want to do. Plus my friends was also like quite interested in what I was doing as well.
I love that. I think one of the sadnesses of the moment is the removal of play, the removal of options for play as we grow up. You know, we're narrowed into this funnel of options, choose, make these big decisions, narrow GCSEs down to A levels, down to a degree, at such a young age, and we remove play, and then layer on top of that the removal of art and the investment in the arts within society that we have today. And everything is getting worse as a result of it. I know we're brainy, and I know we're passing more exams, and that's amazing. But play and science and mistakes are a huge part of social and scientific development. And I love. I'd be so sad if you were just cooking, because what you do with the things that you make, it's absolutely simple and elegant. And I'm really interested in, and this links back to Dan in many ways, the fact that you've gone backwards in time for inspiration. So Dan was 60s to late 60s to 70s, so post mid-century. You were going back to pre-mid-century, and you could walk straight out of the end of the war, genuinely in terms of what you're wearing. What is it about that era that makes you feel most at home and most inspired?
I guess it's just I love stuff that's just made for a purpose. So the fact that whenever I look for inspiration, I always go back to that stuff. Just the simple reason why it's made. Like a bag was not made necessarily to be flashy, to be as fashionable, but also it was made to last the time. So if you come to me and you have a bag that's emotionally attached to you, and you say, Kingsley, can you make this for me? Like, I want to make it for you, not just so it lasts you a year. I would want to use the right techniques to make it so it lasts you longer, so that if you then pass it on to your daughter or your son, then this emotional attachment will still be there. And that's what I kind of fall in love with from making, I don't know, it's just I'm in love with the emotional attachment to it, and the fact that it's made to last and not just to look good.
I love it. Emotional durability and is part of planned obsolescence. We fall out of love with things increasingly quickly because they're designed for us to fall out of love with them. And you're right. You surpass all of that and all of that trend. And I'll always remember when I spoke to you about buying a wallet from you. I said, "Can I buy a wallet from you?" And you said, you didn't say, "Yes, I'll sell you a wallet." What you said was, "I'll make you a wallet." I did pay you, right? You go, I'll make you a wallet, and that changed in my mind. That changed the wallet. I couldn't just go. I could go and buy it, but Kingsley was making me one, and it felt really, really different. And in a society where we now shop as an antidepressant, it's a part of a leisure activity, and that consumption shows up our self-image and frankly our self-definition. How can slow fashion, for want of another word, how can slow fashion help us find who we are?
My approach to it is, if I'm buying something, I'm buying something that I can either wear again and again, or I'm buying something that I think is going to last. So the brands that I would invest in would then be the colors that I choose. So I would choose neutral colors or earthy colors so that I can always wear it again and again. Sorry.
I look like a man for a kindergarten covered in glue.
But you do wear those colors again and again, so you're doing it also. But but also if it's made well, like whether it be a good pair of jeans or a nice trousers, just make sure that the way that it's constructed is, it's nice. Yeah.
I love that. We spoke at the same event last week, and I was really nervous about that event. I was really nervous, shitting it, because, not because I was paid a lot of money, I did it for free, but because it mattered. It mattered for the company, John Lewis, but it also mattered for my relationship with that company. I was really nervous, and Nick knew I was nervous. And I got up in the morning and thought, what am I going to wear? And I've got a handmade suit that cost a lot of money, and it's blue and check and beautiful, and I thought, I can only wear that suit. Yeah. That's what I'm going to wear. Because I know that if I feel great, I perform well. And if I've thought it through, it's a little less glitzy, then maybe I'm going to be taken as a little less glitzy. I love that. And just to finish the questions before we open it up to these, what do mum and dad think now? How have they responded to your frankly stratospheric rise to kind of make a fame?
To tell the truth, I don't think they don't truly understand what. Like, my parents are like super Jamaican, so they always want they always want you to do something a bit corporate, but they're very.
You tell them about John Lewis.
I haven't actually.
Tell them.
I actually haven't. My dad still tries to give me advice and just like, oh yeah, maybe you should make this bag, son. And I'm just like, Dad, that bag's not nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they don't necessarily, not that I kind of understand design, but I'm still a student. But he's giving me advice and stuff that he has no idea about, which is good. And my mom is just like, she's always asking for more and more bags. Which it goes against what my brand's about, so makes it really hard.
I really love that. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes of time. I'm going to give you a bit more time than I did last time. Has anybody got any questions? We'll go Graham, and then we'll go over here. Graham first.
There's going to be two questions. I'll ask you both, and you can answer one of them. Either if you could make anything out of leather, if you could craft something, what would it be? Or if you could make something for anybody, who would it be?
I'm not. In my mind, I want to, in the future, I kind of want to do furnitures. Not furnitures from leather, but just collaborate with a nice furniture maker and use the leather to tell a story also, just to complement both. So that's what I would like to do. If I could make for someone, shoot. I've been a really big fan of, if I'm to be honest, like big fan of like Margaret Harrow for such a long time that I would like, if I would like get commissioned to make a bag for that person, then I would appreciate that because I'm just a massive fan. So yeah, maybe that.
That's brilliant, thank you. Jenny?
I'm a big fan of the kind of built for last ethic.
Yeah.
But it must be really hard to build a business on that because
Yeah.
you kind of, if you're building something and then that customer will hopefully have it forever, so there's no need to return to you.
Yeah.
How much, I can't format the question, but it's sort of like how much confidence do you have to be able to do that, to sort of keep your brand on that path, that strong belief?
I guess with Maya, there's two different sides. So I'll have like the main line, which is the stuff that's like machine sewn. And then if someone comes to me and wants something bespoke making, like from scratch, where I develop everything along with that person, I will always explain the difference in between both. Because there is a difference, and to make it accessible and more affordable, the price point has to be different. And I think I'm always very clear with that, and what's important from my point of view, I want it to be accessible to my friends or people that can't afford like a bespoke suit or a bespoke bag. Like I still want them to, because you have to be in the conversation to teach people a bit about why they should buy well. So yeah, I try to try go both. Yeah.
And you need to put your prices up. No, genuinely, I've bought a wallet that's going to last me forever, and I'm going to give to one of my kids, and I paid not much more than I would pay for something crap.
That's because it's you. I gave you
a discount. Okay, any more questions in the room? I think there's some at the back with a Charlie here. Anybody else? Let me get two at the front. Come on. The front are winning here, thank you. So we're going to Charlie first.
I like what you're doing, but you're having to lead your customer.
Yeah.
You're having to change their thinking from the consumerism they're in.
Yeah.
So you've obviously made lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
What has been your best mistake? And when I mean best mistake,
yeah.
What have you tried to do and failed, but it's opened a much better door for you?
For me, I think I tried to, when I started, I was so stubborn about, I want to make everything, I want to make everything, I want to make everything. I don't want anyone else to, you know, which my approach, because I wanted to make it more accessible to a wider market, I had to learn to then maybe make a local factory help me with the making, which then make it accessible to maybe to wholesale. But what that also did was free up a lot of my time where I could design more, where I can, you know, go to like do stuff like this. But I was so stubborn. Like, I was so stubborn at the start about that. So, but yeah.
You're not compromising by having a blended business model. You know, it's still design-led, it's still hand-led.
Yeah.
But if you're to scale to a point where you can not worry about money, then you're going to have to embrace some form of mechanised manufacturing.
Yeah.
And as long as you're clear that one is more expensive and the other is more accessible, no one's ever going to mind that. It's still a beautiful product, well made. I love that. Question here.
More of a comment, but you're so beautifully dressed. And actually, you were entering the room as I was leaving just the first thing this morning, and I almost couldn't take my eyes off you. Like, and that's it was literally, I know the most. But I just wanted to say, you were sort of coming in and I thought, you need to stop looking now. But now, you know, now I understand. Because I was walking out and you were coming in and I just wanted to say, and now I can see why.
Thank you, that's a nice comment.
I think everyone I know has a little crush on Kingsley. Sartorially, or otherwise. You add huge light to a room, even though you wear colours that are muted, and that's a gift. There was a question over here. It was Dan. Yes.
Yeah. Do you ever think you'd go back into any kind of bespoke fashion?
Well, I think what I intentionally, when I started to do like leather accessories, the reason why I started with leather and accessories was because I didn't have the financial backing. So I think I'm working the opposite way, where I hope to do clothing in like the next 3 years or something. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be bespoke, but it will be well made.
The reason I asked that is because this conversation's made me think back to stories about my grandfather, my British grandfather, who, like, everything that he had was just made for him, because that's what you did then. It wasn't because that was a terribly special thing. It was that you couldn't just go to a shop and get something off the rack. So in his 20s, like, you went to a tailor, and I look at the pictures. I think we all look at pictures of people back then, and they all look dressed way better, and it's because everything kind of fit. I just love to see more of that, but I think anything you make, I'll buy. So.
I'm with you, and going back to Black Horse Lane, which linked yours and this talk as well, weirdly. Those jeans are my favourite jeans because they fit me. They're made to fit me, and they're bespoke, and that's astonishing. One last point, and unless is there another question in the room? Yes, one here. Yeah.
I'm really intrigued that you mentioned you design for purpose. What's the object in your life that doesn't belong to purpose?
Great question.
Let me see. I guess my most favorite. There's a bag that was brought to me by a friend from Japan. That became my most meaningful. And I wear it, and it's not my bag, which is quite funny. But I just like how simple it is. So and the person doesn't know this, but whenever I wear that bag, it's like a crossbody, simple bag. But I would say that's the first thing that came to my mind when you said that. So, yeah.
So it's purpose and emotion.
Yeah, and I didn't expect anything when he came to visit. So yeah, that I think that's the beautiful thing of it. So yeah.
Are you so just before I ask my last question, you talked about moving into clothing. I think it's a no-brainer. Your attention to detail is astonishing. Are you looking for investment in that world at the moment, or are you going to do it on your own?
That I think is something that I've had friends I've had two sides. Of friends that's gone into investment and it turned out wrong, or it will have to be a great understanding and a great relationship, because it's my name. So I would if I lose my name, I don't know what
You
what I mean?
are.
So yeah.
It's never about the money, it's always about the relationship.
Yeah.
And so my last question is really an observation and or a reflection. And this little lad in Jamaica slicing people with putting razor blades, and hand making kites.
Yeah.
I can still see him. I can still see him playing with cut, and I can still see him playing with colour, and I can still see him thinking, yeah, I'm going to eat better today because of what I've made.
Oxtail. Yeah.
Oxtail. I love it. I really do. Kingsley, you don't know how much you shape me, and you don't know how much the things that you make are so well loved and so well treated, and that's a gift. The business model is always going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a challenge, but I think there are some ways through that. So thank you for not being a chef. I mean, your food will be great, but thank you for not being a chef and for going into leather, and you will go back into fashion. I can get it. Well, it's not fashion, it's style. Thank you, my friends.